Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. This is our last fun fold card of the week, and it is a simple 10-fold card, but it's got the accordion base in it so that no matter how heavy the front is, it doesn't flatten out. This one I did with the beautiful Gallery Designer Series paper, and I used the Everyday Arches dies to cut it out, and I just fussy cut some of the paper to match, and I used the Unbounded Love greeting and die to cut the middle out, and then some of those beautiful brushed brass butterflies. So what we're going to do for this one, we're going to use the Impressions Abloom. I'm still using the Unbounded Love greeting and die, and I've already stamped out some flowers and die cut them and die cut out some of the leaves for this one, and I'm using the Impressions Abloom stamps and dies for this one. So what we need for this is a 10-fold card. So this is 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. And then the accordion base is 3 inches wide by 4 1/4. And then you score it at 3/4 of an inch, 1 1/2 inches, and then 2 1/4 inches. So there's 3/4 of an inch between each fold. And it needs to sit like that. You need valley, mountain, valley. Okay, so what we need to do, sorry, I'm going a little bit fast. We need a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Designer Series paper for the front. And then we need a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 for the inside. The inside is going to cover up this whole piece. So it's like a card cut in half. So it's a full-size piece of Designer Series paper for the inside here. Okay, so I'm just going to push this with a bone folder so that it's nice and crisp. Okay, so this, the the Impressions Abloom dies. The one with the straight edge is the larger of the two, and the one with the stitched edge is the smaller of the two. So we are going to cut the smaller, sorry, I've done that the wrong way around. As we layer these up, this creates the smaller hole, this creates the larger hole. So the smaller hole is going to go onto our card base. As you can see, the cardstock is cut here, the paper's cut here. So the smaller opening of the pieces or the dies is going to cut your cardstock. So we're going to put this in the center, and we also need to make sure we're leaving enough room at the bottom that we won't be interfering with our accordion hinge at the bottom. So we're going to pop that there. We want to make sure there's enough room at the top to put some of that Designer Series paper in as well. So we're just going to put this through the machine like this. And I don't really have a way to line things up or measure them so that we know everything is perfect. So if anybody else has an idea of how we could do that, that would be fabulous. Because honestly, it's a wing and a prayer to make sure everything lines up. So let's just pull this off of here. And as I've done this, I've had an idea. Okay, so that's the die. We don't need that one anymore. So that is our card front. So what I can do is I'm going to pop this down like this. Maybe I should put it on the inside like this. So it would sit like that. Pop this down, and I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of adhesive on this piece here. Just a little bit there. And a little bit there, okay? And then I'm going to put this back in, okay? So when I take my paper out, I love it when things occur to me while I'm doing them. This is going to sit here like this. So now I know where this die needs to go in order to cut this out. I'm gonna give this a try, and you can find out here live on the video to see if this is going to work. So we'll give it a whirl. I'm going to run it through the machine, and we'll see what happens. Now, The berry burst piece is smaller, so it should still die cut the designer series paper out larger, and then we know exactly where we should be. So let's see if this works. And what have we got? Aha! Perfect. Look at that. Okay. So that is amazing. And we've got just a little bit of film around the edges there. We just pull that off. Okay. Well, that worked, didn't it? Yay. Okay. So now this is going to go over here like this. And it is still just a little bit high and wide. I'm not going to worry about that. It looks pretty good. So we are going to attach this to the front of the card. Just add some adhesive where we can. There we go. Just like that. And we're going to pop this onto the front of the card, making sure we're kind of lined up with that opening. That's what we needed to do. And then just pop that down like this. Okay. Now we can attach our piece of designer series paper on the inside. Now what I did do is I trimmed about 1/16 of an inch off the bottom of this piece, because we're going to be putting this accordion fold in, and this is going to sit inside of here. And if this was full size, it would create a bit of an issue. And you'll notice I've got no adhesive on the bottom piece here, and that's because when we go to put the hinge in, we're going to put it in here. So this will line up. Again, this is the size of a card, so we're just going to make sure our edges are lined up and we're straight. So there we go. There we go, just like that. And you'll notice there is a bit of a gap at the bottom. So that is where we're going to just slip that hinge in when we're finished. So now we've got another piece of paper in here. I'm just going to squish this down a little bit just to make it lay a little bit flatter. And I'm going to, this greeting will go in the middle like this, but I'm going to wait until I've actually attached my other pieces here. I've cut out some leaves with the dies, and they are going to sit like this. And like this. I'm just adding just little bits. You can use glue dots, you can use glue. Just being careful where I glue or put adhesive so that I'm not going to be gluing on the inside. Now I've got the larger flowers here. I've got 2 large flowers and 2 small flowers, and they're done in Berry Burst and Misty Moonlight. And the centers are crushed curry. So we're going to just put some adhesive here like this. I'm going to pop that like that, and this like this. And you can decide how you want to do your flowers. If you want to pop them up on dimensionals, or if you want to just flat mount them. And I think I'm going to pop them up on dimensionals, the pink ones anyway. Now, knowing that I don't want to go over the edge there, I'm just going to put dimensionals kind of at the bottom of the flowers. And then one can go down like that. And then one can go down like this. And then we can pop these. Do I want to just flat mount these, or am I going to pop them up on dimensionals as well? I pretty much covered up those little leaves, but they're still there a little bit. Or should I tuck this up here? Oh, okay, that one's going up there for sure. So we are going to put a dimensional on that one. And you can see I'm using all the edges of my page. Okay, so now it begs the question, do I put this one down here, or do I put this one up here too? And I think I'm going to pop this one down the bottom here, actually, just so it's not too matchy. Okay, and you'll see that I've got printing on the back of my flowers, Paper has two sides, and it's leftovers from what I didn't use in my junk journal. So there we go. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to put our greeting in. And again, I didn't put the greeting in first because I wasn't sure where the flowers were going to end up. So we can tuck this in right here like this, making sure we're straight. Just like that. Okay, so that's our card, and it would flap out because of the weight of the front of the card. So in order to put this in, I'm going to put adhesive on the back, kind of right up to that edge. And I'm also going to put adhesive on this front edge, which means I'm going to stick this to my countertop just for a minute, and then I'm just going to peel it up. And then this is going to fit under here. So we're going to lift this up, and we're going to place this right along the edge, making sure we're even with that edge. And then we're going to flop that down like that. Now we're going to put adhesive on this edge here, right towards the bottom. And then we're going to fold our card over, making sure we're straight and even. And we're going to pop that down like that. So that is our tent fold with the accordion base on it. So it stands up, and I love the kind of the rounded effect it gives the front. So this is our two versions of the card. We've got the Beautiful Gallery and the Floral Impressions. Again, with the Unbounded Love greeting and die, and the Impressions Abloom for this one. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.